Hello! Today, we're doing a what would go in my random videos playlist, because I am very annoyed at what I have read today. And I'm about to show you it. It's going to be terrible for most people, because a pedantic, semantic person is about to show you something very pedantic and semantic, because holy fuck am I agitated. Did I fucking ask? And this is partially fault of my mom, by the way, because me and her were talking, and then she was asking me about various different things in regards to like how I knew what a glottal stop or a glottal, however you want to say it, is, and everything like that. Told her about some language stuff, and then slowly over time that went to more language stuff, just in general, and speech stuff, and that resulted in pedantic and semantic. And then she asked me, what is a pedant? What is a pedantic? What does that mean? And I always thought she knew what it meant. Apparently she didn't. So she looked it up. She read about it from both a dictionary and then also somebody who is a pedantic person who has a blog apparently explaining how it might not be a bad thing or whatever. And then, of course, I got pedantic with like half the things they said because I couldn't disagree with them more. Then one thing led to another. She refused to look up what I wanted to know, which is like verifying if semantic and pedantic are in fact synonyms, because to me, they fucking are. Or actually, when I did that, the first thing I looked up, as I'm showing you on my screen right now, is pedantic. And I have to do this on my phone, by the way, because I looked it up on my phone, and for some reason in Firefox Focus, I mean, totally, completely different results than I do on my PC. Why? I have no idea. I just do. So I looked up pedantic synonyms, and I decided to just go with the automatic result, which was in English, even though I feel like that's kind of obvious. And here we go. It's from the Oxford Languages, and you get this whole list. And I went through this list, and there's some of these things that I never heard of these words before, and my vocabulary is pretty dang big. But apparently not big enough if you want to include like all sorts of completely unnecessary, excessive, and words that genuinely have fallen way out of use a long time ago. But there's just like so many different ones, and egghead is fucking funny to me. But you'll notice in this that there's not a single one that has anything to do with semantic. Which, at this point, now I'm annoyed. Oh yeah, persnickety, by the way. I did not know that's what that meant. I always associate it with like, you know, old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, especially with cats, and I'm like, okay, so it's kind of a goofy thing, right? It's nothing necessarily bad. Pettifogging, by the way. Pettifogging. What? Anyway, so yeah, persnickety, which I thought was pretty fun. But anyway, that was funny when I saw them at school. Punctilious? Punctilious? I have no the fuck idea how the hell you say that. And I don't want to learn, because that's an evil word, just because I hate it already by looking at it. It's just an absolutely pernicious, despicable word. Anyway, so those are your synonyms. Notice there's no semantic. That frustrated me, because I'm like, they're obviously synonyms. And not seeing it there really annoyed me. So what did I do? I went and I looked up, what is the difference betwixt pedantic and semantic, which I noticed didactic. And I'm like, there ain't no way anyone in the English-speaking world even knows that word exists. How the fuck is that supposed to be the top result? And somehow, third place is semantic. Explain that one to me. Here's where I got really annoyed, because, and this is the point of this video, by the way, is exactly this. And yes, it's a Gemini, I think that's Gemini overview AI, but still, this is actually a really good breakdown. So it has, pedantic describes a person who is overly concerned with minor details or formal rules, often in an annoying way, while semantic refers to the meaning of words and symbols. The two are not interchangeable. Oh, I had everything to say about this at the moment, but I literally say, get the fuck out. But there's more. Just hear this out. This is it trying to defend or explain how they're not interchangeable, and it's gonna do exactly the fucking opposite. My brain, I was so annoyed, and my mom's brain just shut down. It's like this, she literally heard fucking, she got a headache from this because of how fucking illogically stupid this is. The two are not interchangeable. A semantic argument is about the meaning of words, whereas a pedantic argument is one where the speaker obsesses over trivial details, potentially making a semantic point in a pedantic manner. What? So in other words, you just described and explained exactly how they are both synonyms and wholly interchangeable. But there's more. It's further defense and explanation for how they're completely different, uninterchangeable things. Definition of pedantic: overly concerned with minor details of formal rules. Definition of semantic: pertaining to meaning of words and symbols. Nature of pedantic: an adjective describing a person or their behavior, usually seen negatively. An adjective describing a type of argument or analysis which can be helpful or annoying depending on the context. Again, it just described the exact same fucking thing in different words, but it's literally defined, therefore that the nature is literally identical. It's exactly the fucking same. Examples: correcting someone who used hurricane for a tropical storm when the main point was the severity of the event. Okay, here's a problem with this, is that is innately semantic. You know why? Because this is fucking imperative to get right. And especially if you live in a place with hurricanes, whether you call them typhoons because you're in the Pacific, or cyclone, if you're, I think that's the Indian Ocean calls them cyclones, but they're all the same. They're literally just different words for the same thing, aka a synonym. They are exactly the same storm. Here's the thing. If you live in those areas, you understand how fucking pivotal it is to get the correct, exact information about a hurricane forming or coming at your fucking house, your life. Because it's going to come for your life, and if you don't get the accurate information, you're potentially as good as dead. It's not something you fuck with. In that vein, there is a big difference between a tropical storm and even a Category 1 hurricane, or typhoon, or cyclone, depending on, tropical cyclone is the full name, depending on where you are. They're all the same thing, but yeah, that is the hurricane, cyclone, and typhoon. But yeah, so there's a big difference between them in terms of strength. It's the same thing as fucking veracity, if you will. It's the same thing as a big difference between a 5.0 and a 6.0 on the Richter scale. There is a massive amplification in that is hugely important to get exactly correct, because if you do not do that, you're literally potentially costing people their fucking lives, and also miseducating people on something that is very important for them to know, especially if they live, in this case, an earthquake-prone zone, or in this example they're giving, a hurricane zone. It's literally, you can't fucking use that as an example to prove somehow that semantic and pedantic are not interchangeable, let alone they're not synonyms. That literally proves perfectly that they are. It's super frustrating. So, from there, you also have obsessing over the exact definition of sport to debate if golf is one. It's not, because golf is not athletic. It is not really, it doesn't take any real physical toll at all, except a little bit on your arms, but like, you do that with fucking grocery shopping if you fucking are poor enough that you take public transit and you walk it home and you'd prefer walking it, even if it's, it's a full month's grocery shopping or something. But we're not going to call that a sport, obviously, so no, it's not a fucking sport. Anyway, there's a different story. I just fucking hate golf. It's fucking stupid, pointless, and boring. Anyway, semantic example. Asking, it depends on how we define creativity to clarify an argument about AI. Ironically, this is AI saying this. Discussing if a particular event or object can be classified as a sport. They just did that. They just said in the example, the definition of sport to debate if golf is one. Those are literally different words to say the exact same fucking example, to supposedly prove that they're not interchangeable, ever, and that they are not at all synonyms. They're not related. This whole fucking thing literally fucking proves that they are both synonyms and wholly interchangeable, aka they are literally the same thing. The literal only difference that this proves is that one is more specific and the other is more general. That is it. So technically speaking, semantic would be a branch and directly underneath pedantic, because pedantic's general, it's all-encompassing. Semantic specific. Congratulations, you've just discovered and actually argued and explained, as I just shown you, how they are literally interchangeable, and they are fully synonyms of each other. They are literally of each other. They are the same fucking thing. Just one is more pedantic, because you're being pedantic about being like, well, but semantic is more specific. Congratulations! You just proved it by being pedantic about semantic. Fuck me! It's so fucking annoying. I wish people would fucking stop fucking saying is like, oh, it's a living language is a good thing. Oh, this, but this is, as somebody who loves to write, this is why, to me, harsh, strict rigidity in language, prescriptivism is what that's called, is the keystone of all language. Always has been up until modern day, where they throw it all out the window, especially in English, and all of a sudden you have an infinite amount of different uses and definitions for one singular word. And God knows how many fucking words in English are swamped with uses and definitions that are completely even contradictory and contrary to each other. And yes, that's redundant, but and it all it does is create conflict, war, and confusion. That's all it fucking does. Which is why you need to be harsh, strict, rigid, dictatorial about your fucking languages and your definitions. Because context is fucking imperative to have for everyone to be able to fully understand each other, and also for people who are learning the language to not be so fucking swamped with information and just fucking confused, not knowing what exact context or use of a word somebody's fucking using. It drives me up a fucking wall. It drives me fucking insane and ballistic because it's so fucking imperative. And this is why. This is actually the perfect example of why. I will fucking go to war to the day I die against all academics in linguistics against this fucking separation, because it is wrong. It is simply illogical and wrong, and literally fucking makes me into a human Spock, is all it fucking does, because it is utterly and simply and entirely and wholly illogical. Everything about it is, and their arguments. It drives me ballistic. It drives me fucking insane. And it kind of pisses me off, actually. Especially with how much people defend it and be like, no, 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 no. What do you know? You didn't go to college. You have the degree in fucking in English or in linguistics? No, you don't. Okay, so you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I fucking do. They're just wrong. Every single academic and English professor is literally teaching you fucking bullshit. They're teaching you a pile of crap. They're teaching you lies. They're teaching you to be as lazy as possible. That's all they're doing. Period, end of story, or full stop if you're British. It's just... So I wanted to rant about this, because I'm very impassioned about these things, and I only rant about things I'm impassioned about, so... Yeah. And I don't know, like, there's a chance that you guys might somehow see logic in that still, and say, no, 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 that makes perfect sense, I agree. No, it really doesn't. I will go to war with you over how wrong you are, because you just are. It just drives me fucking insane, dude, and ballistic, and I hate everything. But yeah, so there you go. That said, I'm done. I've said what I wanted to say. Okay, cool. How many people are going to watch it? 3! Okay, that's all the way through. Actually, that's probably generous. Like, 1 person all the way through. Nah, not even that. And I'm gonna go fuck myself now and choke myself to death with fucking, I don't know, a trans flag or something. I'm gonna go get hit by a train, if you'll excuse me. It's very imperative. Very important.